are live. This is Wednesday. This is The View from the Top, and we are going to be talking about revolutionizing mobility tech. And we're going to be doing a deep, deep dive into the unified platform. This is so exciting. I must tell you, I'm absolutely besotted with some of this technology that we're going to be showing you today. It is super, super cool. So join us as we go through and we talk about some of this absolutely wonderful technology. But you know how it works, everybody. Join in the conversation. Please write in the comments box. Tell us who you are, where you are. Let's see who's out there in the audience with us too. You can tell us all the latest of what's going on. It's an amazing show. We've got a wonderful change maker, Dharmesh Katari, with us, and he's going to be talking about the Asian Talent Mobility Alliance, which is a really exciting new initiative. So what else? Well, if you want your CPE credits, we've got loads of CPE credits for you, and you can get them here from HRCI and from SHRM. So that's really, really exciting stuff. Also, next week, I'm delighted to say we're going to be talking about mobility personified. And our very special guest is Nicole Millman, who has lived a real career of global mobility in every which way. So it's going to be an absolutely fascinating talk. I can see Bindu is coming in from India. We've got people coming in from all over the world, which is wonderful to see you all. Let's see who else is here. We got Drew saying happy hump day all, Drew Phillips. We got Brett coming in from San Diego. People are coming in, which is just lovely to see. Anyway, we also like to share a little bit of news about what's been going on around the world. So let me have a look and see what information have we got for you, what news has been going on around the world in the wonderful world of global mobility. So without further ado, let's have a look and let's share all our breaking news. So congratulations to everybody who's moved job, everyone who's been promoted. And also, I'm very excited. So I'm going to be saying more on this later. But today we're actually going to launch the next version of the top 100 list. So that's really, really exciting news. More on that coming up. But first of all, we're going to talk immigration. And as ever, I'm absolutely delighted. We've got with us the one and only Julia Onslow-Cole, who's going to be telling us about some really important immigration updates. So let's hear what Julia has got to say. Now, you know how it works. Everybody hit the heart button, hit the like button, hit the applause button, and let's say a big old welcome to Julia Onslow-Cole.
Hi, Brian. Hi.
And where are you today?
I'm in Dubai actually today. Yeah. So it's fantastic to be here.
And I'm guessing lovely weather.
Yes, it's fantastic weather. And I know I've just seen Shoaib join from the Dubai team. It's lovely to be with the team. And I feel really bad because I was actually going to cover the Middle East today, and I had a lot to talk about. There's many exciting things happening here. But Tally contacted me as I was flying over, and she said she thought it would be good if I could just cover the Canada-India situation. And actually, I had lots of emails when I landed from people asking me questions. So I hope people don't mind, but I will talk about the Middle East next week.
That is a political, situation that has turned into a really big immigration situation. So tell us a bit about what's been going on between Canada and India.
Yeah, thank you. And I just wanted to say a big thanks to David Crawford, who's our partner in charge of Canada, and to Rick Lamana, who's a partner in Canada. So I think everyone is aware of the political issue. And that political issue is that, the Canadian government have accused India of directing a plot to kill the Sikh separatist Hardeep Singh Nijjar on Canadian soil. And this has stirred frictions between the two countries. And I'm just really dealing now with the immigration impacts, because measures have been imposed by India, and these are having a big effect on immigration to India from Canada. So the first thing to understand is that the Indian consulate posts in Canada have temporarily suspended the acceptance of applications, the processing of applications, and the issuance of all Indian visas, and that actually includes e-visas too. Okay, and that was effective really immediately. News. Sorry?
I say this is really big news.
Yes, so it was effective immediately, and it's really unclear when this temporary suspension will be lifted. So this means that all Canadian and foreign nationals, so everyone who is not already an Indian citizen, who want to travel to India from Canada are not able to apply for Indian visas or get their Indian visas further processed until further notice. Now, there are many nuances of this, so which is very important that we give you a good update today. But Canadian citizens and foreign nationals who hold valid Indian visas can travel to India. So a lot of the questions that we've had are, what if I already have a visa? Can I travel? And the answer is yes, you can. So it's really important with all immigration, just to keep going in various websites. Obviously, Fragment have a very good website on this, but to keep updated, because things may change. But from what we've monitored just a few hours ago, those that already have a visa haven't had any problems entering India. And at the moment, there's absolutely nothing in place that affects Indian nationals. So if you're an Indian national living in Canada, of course you can travel to India. Now, what we wanted to additionally say is that Canada has not suspended the issuance or even capped the number of visas or permits for Indian nationals. So as far as we are concerned, as at today, there's no information or anything that we've seen up until today to suggest any reciprocal suspension of visa issuance for Indian nationals who are seeking to enter Canada. But one thing that we really wanted to point out is that Canada has actually reduced its presence of its consular staff in various consulates in India. So we've actually monitored this and actually seen this happening. Now, what that means is it's likely to cause delays in the processing times of applications that are already there or applications that haven't been submitted. But they're reducing the presence of the staff. It's not, as far as we can see, a retaliatory measure. It's really for other concerns, but the impact of that on everyone is that there will be these processing delays. So I hope that's helpful.
Delays might be. Do we know roughly how long those delays might be, Julia?
No, we don't. It will very much depend how many Canadian consular staff have been moved out the consulates. But we're saying at the moment we should allow, sort of more delays than normal. So, we shouldn't expect the processing times that we had at the beginning of the situation.
Okay, so Julia, thank you so much for that update. That is really, really helpful. And as ever, with the view from the top and with the support of you and your colleagues at Fragaman, we really are right up to the minute in terms of what these developments are. And this is obviously very much a developing story of what's going on between Canada and India. So thank you so much for that really important update. We're going to move on. We're going to move on now. Actually, there's a bit of an Indian theme continuing because our special guest, our change maker, is Dharmesh Kathari. So, Julia, we're going to say thank you to that, and we're going to welcome to the stage Dharmesh. So, everybody, again, you know how it works. Hit the like, hit the heart button, hit the like button, hit the applause button. Let's say thank you to Julia and welcome to the stage our change maker for the week, Dharmesh Kathari.
Hi, Brian.
Discussion with you. There's two things that we're talking about today. I know there's a charity you support, but also there's this really exciting development about the Asia Talent Mobility Alliance. And I want to hear all about that. But first of all our change makers support a charity. Tell us very briefly about the charity that you support, and then we'll move on to talk about Atma.
Sure. So I support the Akshay Patra Foundation. It's a charity which serves midday meals to school children in government and government-aided schools. So it's a massive program in India. It currently provides midday meals to 2 million children every day across 15 states.
Hang on. Let's just stop there. The charity provides school meals to 2 million children every day. That is amazing.
That's yes, awesome. and it's across 15 states in India. So it's a massive operation of providing midday meals to school children. So it's hugely successful. So it's been a great opportunity to support this foundation.
Okay, well, congratulations to you for supporting that, and many thanks to you for being a change maker. And I hope have you found being a change maker? Hopefully the answer is yes. Have you found it useful and interesting?
Yes, it is. I think the access to upcoming and emerging technology and the discussions we have in the Changemaker Forum, I think those are very, very rewarding and very future-looking. So, which is very exciting. In an otherwise a mobility profession, which is largely tax, immigration, which is all kind of just going by the rules. So, this is very game-changing for us, all of us.
And I know Kara's going to be saying a bit more about it later, but we've actually got two Changemaker events, one tomorrow, one Friday. Based on different time zones.
Yes.
So for those of you out there who are change makers, we got some pretty cool stuff that we're going to be showing you in areas where we're going to be looking for your feedback as well. But Dharmesh, the other thing I wanted to talk about was this new thing that has been launched, the Asia Talent Mobility Alliance, or ATMA. Tell me a bit about it. What is it? What's involved?
Yeah, so in fact, 11 of us in the global mobility space in Asia have come together to form this alliance called the Asia Talent Mobility Alliance. In short form, it's called ATMA. I mean, incidentally, Atma from an Indian language or Hindi language perspective means the soul of the human being. So something which resonates with what we want to do for our talent mobility industry in Asia. So Atma essentially
the soul of talent mobility. I love it.
Yes, absolutely. And we are essentially a non-profit organization, which our end game is enhancing the innovation and development of talent mobility in Asia. So our 4 core pillars are around developing the talent mobility professionals in Asia, having a kind of bring the community together and help them integrate better and have a better transfer of knowledge, have more events and webinars. If you know, we recently had a launch event in early part of September in Singapore, and we were really, really encouraged by a very strong turnout of global mobility leaders in Singapore coming all over from Asia. So thank you all for coming up and supporting us.
And let's give a shout out to the launch committee. I think you said there was 11 of them. Is that right? Just quickly, let's shout out their names.
Sure, absolutely. So it's Sharon McNay and Steve Werson from Brillo Asia Network, Evram Goldberg from Wakat, Shuman Yeo from Micron, Meng Zheng from Grable, Sean Collins from Talent Mobility Search, Michael Johnson from Arpin, Eva Lu from Cargill, Joan Lee from Bayer, Patricia Jade, and myself. So it's been a very rewarding experience to kind of be a part of this fantastic team who are trying to now, do this. We come across this alliance and come up with more opportunities for people to come together and develop this industry. A big part of this is obviously to also develop the talent, as I said before, and we launched a mentoring program for the talent mobility professionals in Asia, which we call as the Mentoring Asia program. And this program is free of cost for members of Atma. And this is a program where some of the senior global mobility leaders in Asia will invest time in mentoring talent to help them deal with their challenges in the global mobility space. So I just want to say that I want to request all of you to kind of visit the website. As I said, it's www.asiaatma.com, asiatma.com, and to know more about us and become a member and join us in our journey to build a very strong and a solid organization which can truly represent the needs of the global mobility in Asia.
Okay, that's absolutely amazing, and we're going to move on now. But I just want to say that to everybody who's been involved with Atma, kudos to you, and certainly from our perspective at Benivo and from the view from the top, if we can help support you or promote you, we're very happy to do so. So good luck with all your endeavors. We're now going to move on. I want to bring onto the stage Benivo's very own Cara Butler, who's going to be talking about some of the events that we've got coming up, and also we're going to talk about the launch of the top 100 global mobility community champions. This is we always do the top 100 list, and this is our latest one. And we'll be talking a bit about this in a moment, but I thought I'd just play you the video. So everybody, hit the heart button, hit the like button, hit the applause button. Let's say thank you to Dharmesh and good luck to the Atma, and welcome to the stage, Cara Butler.
Hi, Brian. Nice to see you.
You're in sunny Houston today.
I am sunny and hot.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about what's going on then. Tell us the latest news.
Yeah, gosh. We've got a lot going on in the next few weeks. So I want to give an update. And then, of course, I'm super excited to announce that we're now taking nominations for Benivo's Global Mobility's Top 100 Community Champions. And our definition of a community champion is a corporate-only individual within our global mobility community who goes above and beyond to contribute positively and meaningfully and basically doing good in their communities. So again, these 100 individuals will be recognized for their exceptional efforts, their dedication, and their impact in fostering a sense of belonging, collaboration, and support within their communities. So Charlie,
hopefully we've got a link that we can post to that. So
yeah, Charlie's going to share. She's going to share the nomination link in the chats.
There we go.
Yeah. So everyone take this opportunity to nominate those that you feel meet this criteria. And we're looking forward to recognizing these individuals soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, we'll come on to some of the other stuff in a moment, Cara, but basically, as I understand it, a community champion is someone in the industry who is doing good in some way, either in their local community, it may be that they're volunteering or they're helping out with a charity or something, or they're doing good in the global mobility industry. Maybe they're speaking at a lot of events, they're sharing stuff, they're one way or another, they're doing something to help the community, our community or their own community. So everybody out there, I'm sure you know lots of people that do fall into that category. Please put your nominations out there and we are going to celebrate that list. Nominations close on November 15th and then we'll be releasing in December the actual list. And let's celebrate all those wonderful people who are doing good in our industry and in their lives. So what else is new, Cara?
Gosh, well, next, I guess Benivo is going local. And Thursday, October the 5th will be a really busy day for us. First, we have our London event, which is our Benivo Backstage Innovation and Action Luncheon. It's being hosted by you, our very own Brian Friedman. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that.
But this is a really unique opportunity to see the firsthand, the inner workings of Benivo. We've got some great speakers lined up. So if you're in the London area next Thursday, you're not going to want to miss it. So please join us if you can. And then we have our Houston Changemakers and Tech Connect Luncheon also next Thursday, October the 5th. We're going to have a chance to network a little bit with some of our great Houston Changemakers and friends. And we're also going to take the opportunity to discuss the impact of AI and GPT on global mobility. And this session is being moderated by Alex Long from Dimensional Fund. So we only have a few spots left. So I hope you can join us there. And again, Tally will be posting the registration links to these two events in the chats, the nomination link as well for our top 100 community champions. But then also, as Brian, you were talking about earlier, we also have our Changemakers quarterly calls coming up, happening tomorrow and Friday, with some really exciting things that Benivo is coming out with. So if you're a Changemaker, we look forward to seeing you. And if you'd like to become a Changemaker, please let us know. We'd love to have you. And those are our updates. More to come. And back to you, Brian.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for that, Cara. Always a pleasure working with you. We're now going to be talking about revolutionizing global mobility technology. And we've got some really cool stuff that we're going to be showing you through. And also some reminders of some of the really cool stuff that's been around a while, but maybe, you know, not everybody's aware of absolutely everything that the platform does. So I'm super delighted that we've got our CEO, Nitzan Yudan, with us on the show. So everybody, you know how it works. Hit the heart button, hit the like button, hit the applause button, and let's say thank you to Cara and welcome to the stage, Nitzan Yudan.
Hello, Brian.
Hey, Nitzan. I posted on LinkedIn the other day. I did a post about the show, and I just started off by saying I'm in love. And then I started talking about how cool. No, sorry. You're a great guy, but I didn't mean that. I meant with the technology platform and how cool it is. It's amazing. It's one of those things about the language, isn't it? It's amazing how something so hot can be so cool at the same time. But we've called it the unified platform. I really want to sort of get into what that means. But before I do, maybe you could just tell us a bit about how we see the role of global mobility changing, and let's get into it from that perspective. So tell us a bit about that. I know everybody's doing more work, less resources, and automation is coming in every direction, but give us your take on how the role of mobility is changing.
I mean, Brian, it all started when you started this show, right? And when the pandemic happened, and something dramatically changed in mobility. The amount of work went dramatically up, owning more complexity, more focus on compliance. Everyone now looking into what's going on. And in addition, got all the remote from work and work from anywhere and work from nowhere and all those areas. But also what happened is that headcount went down. Headcount went significantly down across the industry of mobility, between 30 to 50%. And that's created something impossible. There is a lot more work to do and less people to get that work done. So there's no way to solve it. We can't work harder. We have to change something. And that has been what's driving the technology revolution of mobility in the last couple of years, where companies realize that's it. We have to change. We have to digitalize. We have to automate. And one of the benefits of automation that is not just reducing manual work, it's unlocking the opportunity to use data. To, of course, use artificial intelligence, AI, but to use data in ways that were not possible in mobility before in order to transform the role of mobility. So we really turned that lemon together into a lemonade. It's not only that we found ways to automate.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I mean, there's an old saying that you can either work hard or you can work smart. And if you're smart, you'll work smart. So, the pressure is on us to work smarter, partly because, as you said, numbers are being cut and volumes are right back up there. But there's also this lemonade, making lemonade from lemons, that technology is not just going to help us work smarter, it's actually going to help us work more strategically as well. Because one of the big complaints, I've been in this industry for more years than I care to mention, and everybody has always talked about the importance of having a seat at the table and why can't mobility be more strategic. And we became more strategic during the pandemic. That was the silver lining, that all of a sudden everybody needed to know about movement of people and getting people back home and cross borders and et cetera, et cetera. The whole world changed. Remote working became a thing like it never was before. But what we've got to do now is seize that opportunity and build on it. So I think the phrase that we've both been talking about is, how do we move from being reactive to being proactive?
Exactly. And I think that's the core of the change in mobility, because when we are reactive, it means that we are spending our day handling escalations and executing what someone else asked us to execute, which, let's face it, it's not the most exciting thing we can do. And by using data, we can anticipate the issues before they become escalations and then solve them, right? One of the leaders of the largest mobility program, I think they even said it on the show, right? That one of the challenges they face, that their team is always the last one to know when something goes wrong. So they just solve problems that are easy to solve if I knew about it earlier. But now, my God, it's a madness. That data changes that, allow us to free up a lot of the time that now as mobility leaders, we are spending on escalations because we can avoid them. And that allows the second part, the strategic part, of being able to come to the organization with data. Because again, a quote from this show, if you don't come with data, you're not relevant. That's the only thing that can get a seat at the table and be able to talk about diversity, about cost, about demographics, about connecting talent and growing our talent and connecting to mobility. And it's sometimes around cost savings, and it's sometimes about investing in people. It depends on the economy, but it all is driven by data that we now able to deliver and able to do things that, we will show today. Just the usual cost estimate that we've all known for so many years can actually become a strategic tool rather than an execution tool.
That's such a powerful point, that if you don't have the data, it doesn't exist. It's not, you know, you can't, you're not relevant. If you don't have the data, you're not relevant. That is so powerful, the power of data. Now, there's one thing before we get into that. How do I say this politely? Sometimes people say to me, love the show, but what exactly does Benivo do? So, and I know we've grown so fast and we've pivoted in so many ways that people sometimes forget. So give me, like, you know, the 30-second answer. What exactly does Benivo do?
It's a good point, because we evolve and we are a customer obsessed company. So we keep listening to our customers and we're adding more capabilities. So let me tell you what we're doing based on what our customers currently ask us. We provide an end-to-end solution that handles the 3 pillars of mobility, which is the global mobility, the HR, the supplier partners, the vendors, and the third one is the relocating employees. And we are connecting all 3 into a single platform, single experience, sharing the same data fields, workflows. We enable payments. We make payments to suppliers. We make payments to employees. We look at that expense reimbursement, allowances, all of that. And we provide to mobility the tools to do their daily job, from running a cost estimate to authorizing vendors in one click, to analyzing dashboard to find a strategic insight. All on that on a single platform. And, you know, in kinds of where Benivo evolved, it handles 100% of the movements in the organization, all employees. And that will include the VIPs, the junior moves, and the remote, everything that needs to be done can be done on a single platform, on a single database, and allowing us to be able to also provide, through the partnership we've built in the industry, a lot of the case management, the hand holding that in the past people were asking us, hey, how do we solve that? And we've now brought that into the Benivo ecosystem, and through Benivo, it's possible to get everything I described on technology, also the vendor management, right, including contracting, subcontracting with vendors, paying vendors, anything that needed that space, and the case management, so the hand-holding support by professional relocation consultants. So really covering the end-to-end of the needs of mobility.
Okay. And so there's a whole big partner network that is behind that, and I know we're always on the lookout for more partner organizations to join our supply chain.
Yes, and we have a number of sets of partners. One of them are those who are delivering the relocation consultant, right? So that's not Benivo team members, but actually professional relocation consultants, either from the Big Four or from other organizations who are providing that in partnership with us, using the Benivo tools and technology to get that efficiency. And the second type of partnership is the supplier network, where the traditional and the non-traditional players of the industry can come to Benivo, become a supplier network, and start and address that huge number of moves that we manage a year, which, you know, it's been phenomenal to see the growth, and every year to see how we triple the volumes that we did the year before. An amazing journey. So looking forward for supplier partners.
Volumes have tripled in the last 12 months. That's just extraordinary, especially in a market where actually overall relocation numbers are static or declining.
Yes.
Let's get granular here. So we've talked about what Benivo does, and you've explained that it's basically a platform that covers and unifies the 3 angles of that mobility triangle: the HR, the mobility folk, the employees, and of course the vendors, the suppliers, or the partners, call them what you want. But let's get granular. Let's share some examples as to exactly some of the cool technology and how this is revolutionizing revolutionizing mobility. And if you want to share your screen at any point, then just let me know and we'll pull it up.
Good. I'll share my screen now. Let's go through a journey to talk about the role of mobility as they use Benivo as their daily tool. Then we'll talk about.
I'll just share your screen now.
Thanks. And
okay, there we go. So we're seeing a screen. I can see the number 48445. So tell me what I'm looking at.
Yeah, so I just see my dashboard as a mobility leader, how many moves I have, how many people are in every location, really what we call kind of the basic demographics of what's happening in my program.
I'm going to stop you right there. Just show that map there. Just show me. So that map is showing where everybody is right at the moment. So we've got, automatically, we've got their data showing where assignees are or relocatees are around the world.
Yes, and I can drill down, I can see which, I can drill down by department, by business unit, by home country, whatever I want, all in my fingerprints. I, as a mobility leader, own the data. I don't need anyone else to share data for me to have report. It's all instant for me. And this message, I'll repeat that a few times because it's so important to how we as mobility can do our work better. So we have that area of, as I start on the platform, I can see what's happening in terms of with my employees. Often what I want to do is to run a cost estimate. And we've launched a year ago what we call the Smart Cost Estimate, powered by the Vialto Partners tax rules. And that had a few advantages compared to the more traditional cost estimates tools, because it was instant, it was the most accurate based on the Big Four engine. And finally, it uses real data. It uses real data of the spend, and it then allows me to do all the comp accumulation automatically and compare cost estimate to actual cost in real time. So I'll talk about it.
Let me understand this, Nitzan. Just to interrupt, just to ask a couple of questions. How long does it take to do a cost estimate?
It takes seconds to run a cost estimate. And I can run as many as I want, as many scenarios as I want. This is what we thought is the obvious.
Okay,
but
so
then, yeah.
So the old days of when you used to pay for a cost estimate, it would come back 48 hours later, and then if you want to do another one, you had to pay again. That's all gone. This is all included in the general license fee for the whole platform, and you can do as many cost estimates as you want.
Absolutely. Just like when you use your calculator.
With real data.
When we use our calculator, we're not paying per calculation, right? Why are we paying on a cost estimate for every calculation? Why are we doing it still manually? It doesn't make sense. So that was the first thing we did a year ago. And then this year, we said, let's take it to the next level. Because as a mobility leader, when I run a cost estimate, what am I doing? I'm executing on a scenario that someone else defined to me, right? And that person came to me and I say, let's say I want to send someone from France to the US, and these are the dates, 1st of December, 2023 till 31st of January, 2025. How much will it cost me? Right? And I can find the answer, but what am I doing by focusing on that? I'm just executing. Can I, as a mobility leader, add more value? Because I'm going to tell you, that's going to cost you.
So as quick as that, we've got a cost estimate.
Yeah, and that will cost you $900,000. Great. And I have here the salary. We took that information, of course, automatically. We already knew the policy, so we applied that. I can, of course, change that. I'm not going to get into all the settings of the system now. But this, for us, is basic. This is not being strategic. Being strategic is coming back to the business and saying, hey, you asked me to send someone from France to the US on these dates, and that's going to cost $900,000. But if you're willing to send that person a bit later, we can do that at almost half that cost, 40% less. I can save here to my organization more than $300,000 just by using AI. And in the same few seconds that it took me to run the estimate, I got in the background running hundreds of different scenarios that were looking for optimization, leveraging all kinds of tax rules, leveraging policy changes, leveraging whatever I want to allow to flex in order for me to look at a couple of alternatives that I can go to the business and say, hey.
I'm going to stop you here because that's why I'm in love with this technology. Because the problem with what-if scenarios, apart from that they used to be expensive, is the problem with what-if scenarios is you need to know the question that you're going to ask. You then got to sit down, you get your cost estimate, you think, well, what about if we do this? What about if we do that? What about if we do that? Now, with this, you don't even have to actually ask the what if. because the technology is doing the what if for you in the background and is actually saying to you, well, you could do that, which is what you want to do. But by the way, if you do this or that, you can save yourself a ton of money. It is so cool.
And now we also track that, right? So now at the end of the year, I can come to my manager and say, hey, this year we saved to the business $5 million. Where is my raise? Right? And we can really come in showing, in demonstrating the impact that mobility that has on the organization in that aspect. Right? Just one example, obviously many more examples, but just looking at that, how this transform what we thought is just a normal cost estimate. So we saw what automation does. It makes it in seconds and easy and low cost, but then data and AI, artificial intelligence, allows to completely transform it. And of course, I can now send it for approval, and I can choose which one I want to send to approval, and I can have a few people to approve it, and it's all going to be secure through the system, sending them that those messages, etc. But my role as mobility has changed, and I can now add strategic value to my organization. I can also, on the same platform, can go into each and every one of my moves, and I can see what's happening on that move. I looked at the case of an employee. What are the key dates? What are the information about their compensation? Which vendor services have been initiated? I can see 4 services have been initiated to that employee. I can see the status of delivery with each one. I can see what is the next step, and the employee can see that as well, right? We talked about the Uber Eats or the Deliveroo experience, the Deliveroo experience, where I can see at every moment what's the status of my relocation services. I can see that as a mobility manager. Of course, the employee can see that as well. I can go and generate and authorize additional vendors in a single click. No need to copy paste information, no need to enter to other systems. I can go and generate an assignment letter in a single click, and I can see all my pre-populated fields, and of course I can change them if I need. Really giving that data available for me. We've added here something new. I know it's something we'll cover in 2 weeks, which is the ability also to send a message to that employee, and including all the messaging between employees, between the vendors and the mobility on a single place. So I can see really in real time what's happening. And of course,
this is super cool. Again, one of my mantras is, why do we enjoy better technology in our everyday lives than we do in relocation? I know 1,000 times I've used the analogy, I enjoy better technology when I'm ordering a pizza, because when I'm ordering a pizza, I can see where it is on the route to my house. I can see the reviews. But actually, another analogy is when I'm booking a vacation on Airbnb, which I do from time to time, then I can actually communicate with the host on a secure platform via Airbnb. I don't have to come out of it and email. It's all there, and it's there forever. Same with PayPal would be another example, where they've got in-app messaging. And what you're saying is that's what we're putting in here with the user experience. So tell us a bit about that. I know we're going to be covering more in 2 weeks' time, but let's give it a quick preview.
There are really 3 reasons why we decided to invest in that. First is transparency. When we are asked as mobility, hey, what's happening with employee X? We don't know. We need to contact our partners, who then need to contact, obviously, the downstream vendors. And by the time we get an answer, there's a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. That doesn't make sense. We, as mobility leaders, should know what's happening with our people. So now everything is our system. I can see every communication. I don't need to be CC'd on it. I can just see it on the platform. I can search for that. I can see every ticket or escalation that happened, every exception request, all of that on a single tool. So that's the first reason, transparency.
So if an employee, for the sake of argument, is if an employee is communicating with his housing provider or his immigration provider, his tax or his DSP or whatever it might be, then you, the mobility manager, can actually see it and join the conversation as and when you feel the need to do so.
Yes, and we'll talk in a second about the as and when you need to feel. The second reason we did it is for data security. As everyone knows, we are passionate about protecting employees' data and doing more in order to do that. We know there is a problem in mobility with the amount of data that is available, with how data is communicated. So we've created those secure tools that allow to reduce the amount of PII, personal information, identifiable information that is shared in the system. So we improve the security dramatically with this solution. And the third reason is AI and GPT, which allows us, this amazing technology allows us to have another team member working for us, reading all the emails and providing a summary for us. But that team member is the AI. So I can see in a second what's the summary of the conversation. I don't need to read a thread of 20 emails. I can just see the key 3-4 bullet points. And on top of that, we're gonna talk in 2 weeks about sentiment analysis and how AI help us identify cases that seems that are going wrong before they become an escalation. So lots of exciting technology that is put there.
I've got to ask Nitzan, I mean, we've talked about it so much, but when we're talking about cool tech, we've got to mention GPT and Benivo. I know Benivo's got its own version, Benivo GPT. So tell us a bit about that, and then maybe you'll show us some of it in a moment. But give us a bit of introduction first about what it can do and what it is and how people should use it.
We'll look into Benivo GPT a bit later. I think on high level, what is Benivo GPT? GPT is changing the world. We were very lucky to partner with Microsoft, who is the owner of or 40% owner of OpenAI, who developed that technology and allow us to get access to build together with the Microsoft mobility team a solution that is called Benivo GPT, that is really taking GPT to the next level in terms of data analysis, in terms of having another team member, right, who can help us draft emails, answer questions, give me advice. When we've done that with Julia, when we tested, right, the bot, and so how the bot is answering immigration questions, and he did it well. He did it well, and sometimes they said, hey, it's time to talk to Julia or to your other trusted consultant, right? So it allows us to really take ourselves into the next level. We call it superpowers. We use that heavily in Benivo ourselves to how we work. And now we've opened up that opportunity also to our clients to leverage those capabilities. Let's move and talk a little bit about the vendor management part of Benivo. So as I mentioned before, using Benivo, unlike any other technology solution, you can also use that to do vendor management. And that can include...
Sorry, let me stop you, Nitzan. Do you want me to share your screen at this point?
Yes, please.
Okay, right. It's just coming up.
And that can be tax.
Yeah.
And that can be the tax, immigration, relocation. That can be either just for tracking or also for contracting. So if you want to have, looking on removing layers, you can use Benivo, and many companies use us in that way of having us manage their relocation vendor network, right? Housing and shipping and home buying and DSP, all of that with.
So let me just step in here. I'm seeing a screen because I know you can't see what's here. I'm seeing a screen that says number of applications 135. So you're scrolling down through.
So we talked a little bit about that pizza experience, which is great to see, but let's look at the data behind it. And the data here, when I look at immigration, allows me to look at each and every one of the steps in my with immigration, right? The first step is contacting the employee, and I can see how long on average it takes. I can see it takes on average 2.2 days, and the SLA is 3 days. So it's all good. But the value of having real-time technology is that I can see in real time, I have 11 employees who are stuck at this stage for longer than the SLA. And I can click on that, and I can see who are those people, and I can, of course, raise an automatic alert to the immigration provider to make sure they don't do the ball, and I can make sure we take an action here, right? So instead of having the escalation that someone, the immigration maybe didn't contact them on time, the immigration person, they will go to their manager, will go to their manager, who will come to my manager. I can identify that issue in real time, avoid all that escalation that will result with a big waste of time for me and a poor experience. So that's just one example here, how data allows us to transform vendor management. The other area is to talk about predictive analytics and being able to use what we expect to be the time that the visa will be issued based on recent actual cases.
That's where we've got the Uber experience. When do you expect your Uber driver, to use the analogy, to deliver your work permit?
Yeah, and then we can compare that to the work start date. And we can identify, using data, not intuition, that there are 2 employees at risk of not getting their visa by the work start date. And even 3 months before, we can now go to the business and say, hey, let's talk about solutions. Maybe change the date, maybe look at EOR, maybe choose a different time. It doesn't matter what's the solution, but now we are not just saying, whoops, sorry. We don't come with excuses. We can come to the business with solutions and add value there. All right. Let's have a look at a few other things around the vendor management. Similar to immigration, we can do the same.
Take your screen off, Nitzan. I'll take your screen off then at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Similar to how we look at immigration, the same work at any other case, right? So whether it's housing, temporary housing, or shipping, and then you ask, so what connects it all? It's the technology, but also people, right? So yes, we've built technology to allow self-serve, but we know that self-serve is not the only solution. And that's why we have a layer of the relocation consultant who are there as project manager, case managers who are able to help the employee do anything from booking services to policy brief, to handling vendor escalations, to get reminders on milestone and pick up the phone and call when needed. All of that support is included in that end-to-end solution. So perhaps we'll spend a couple of minutes also looking on the platform for employees. What do you say?
That sounds good. And I do want to make sure we see some of the GPT stuff as well. So, okay. So this is, I'm just going to add it onto stage. Here we go. And that's the employee platform.
Right. So as the employee, I'm going Stark Industries is my employer, obviously branded as my employer. I can see here that I have my actions to do. I can learn about my destination. I can see the money I have. I can look into the benefits I'm entitled to. And we support all policies. So that can be managed services, where I can see here which services were selected to me in one place, fill all my needs assessment, and it's sent to all the relevant ones, all the relevant vendors in one go. So I never need to enter the same information more than once, right? We all experience that. How many times do I need to enter my date of birth? Surely someone should know it by now, right, as the assignee. Now we've automated that, and of course, controlling and protecting that data. So that's the managed services, core flex and managed budget. We also support that. I know that's something we've shown 2 weeks ago, and the lump sum experience. So really providing solution and tailored solutions, but all on a single platform. So if you have some employees on lump sum and some on managed budget and some are managed services, you can have all the data sets on one place, all of them on one platform, but each has their own individual experience. And they're only going to see what's relevant for them. No more long PDFs, no more policies to read, and is it for me, is it not? No, each of them has their own experience and all personalized to their needs. I'm not going to cover everything on the platform, obviously. I want to show one thing, which is the payment capabilities, because we have here really 3 products around our fintech product or fintech offering. And those products are pay later, allowances, and expense reimbursement. With regards to pay later, it's a cash advance from Benivo to the employee that the employee then repay back to Benivo in monthly installments. They can access it in seconds and get the money between instant to 1 working day, and it's off payroll. That's why so many companies are using it for their early career programs, for their engineering teams. A lot of India outbound moves are using pay later, but also, of course, from all over the world, right? So very, very popular. We've launched pay later, I think, now almost 9 years ago with Google, who was our first client. It was their idea. We just executed, and still a very popular area in Benivo. The second one is the relocation allowance. I can go here and apply within seconds to receive my relocation allowance, including signing my repayment agreement and choosing which currency I would like to receive the funds on, and reading whatever are the terms I should do it, right? So all the brief can be digital. If I want to talk to a person, I can, of course, talk to a person. And that's it. I can withdraw my funds, get it to my bank account, again, within minutes, and it can be a housing allowance, driving allowance, travel allowance, recurring allowance, whatever it is, we set it up. We also customize it to when the employee can access the funds. So you can decide if you want them to access it on the day of the start, 30 days before, whatever are your policies, we are there to support it. And the final one is...
And I was going to say, we've only got a few minutes left, so we need to make sure we focus.
The last one is the expense reimbursement. And that's, again, automating the ability to submit a receipt and get repayment. So expense reimbursement, something that we all now pay a fee for every expense and every employee, no more fees on that. All automated, powered by AI, allowing us to do that in ways that were not possible before. Similar, because all the payments, all the vendor payments happening on Benivo, we also get we also get compensation accumulation automatically. I've now switched to show Benivo GPT. Can you just confirm that you can see that?
We can see it's looking really fancy, and this really excites me. So tell me a lot about this bit.
So in Benivo GPT, there are a few areas. I'm just going to give a taster of one of them, which is asking the tool to draft for me an announcement about a new benefit of a relocation policy, in our relocation policy, which is called pet shipment. And I've asked it to suggest 5 different headers. And I can see within seconds, I got it here, the subject line, the information, the content to send, and I can ask what is the source of data here, right? And as well as the ability to customize that, and then ask questions about immigration, about compliance. Anything I would like to ask, I can do that. Now, how is that different than ChatGPT or Bard or all the other tools? Well, first, it's leveraging those tools, right? But what it adds are 2 important factors. First, this is something only possible via the API. So you can't, when you share something on ChatGPT, the company who built it, OpenAI, can use the data you shared. So that's why so many companies are blocking it. With Benivo GPT, they cannot. We block that data, and that data, you own that data. No one can access that. No one can use the data that you use here. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we train this bot on specific mobility knowledge. So we can train it on the tax positions of your tax provider, on the immigration view of your immigration provider, on your company policies. So I can ask here anything, what's the policy for remote work, and it will just tell me, right? And that can be my company policy. So if you use ChatGPT, obviously we're going to get a random question. Here, I can get the specific answer that is relevant for me. So similar to capabilities we've seen maybe on ChatGPT, we are bringing that into mobility and adding to that the additional value of both protecting the data, but also personalizing and customizing it.
I think that is, Nitzan, I think that is super cool. We're actually just out of time now. and I'll bring the others on stage. But just in 30 seconds, if I had to ask you to sum up what you think is happening, what's coming next, what's your summary of where we are at the moment?
I think where we are in mobility is in the most important junction of mobility ever. This is our time to drive the change. We should be disrupting rather than be disrupted. And this technology revolution, the AI, the GPT, is our opportunity. Mobility has always been behind. Let's face it, right? For years, the technology has been behind. Now, this revolution, let's make sure we don't miss it out, because those who will miss it out will become irrelevant. And we all want to make sure that we are the leaders. So let's lead the change.
Absolutely. Okay, let me just bring on our other guests back on stage. We've got Julia, we've got Dharmesh, we've got Kara, and of course, our wonderful producer, Tally. So thank you, everybody. It's been a great show. It really is a revolution in mobility. We will be back next week when we're going to be talking about mobility personified, and we're going to be talking about the incredible travels and mobility career of Nicole Millman. So that's going to be a really interesting episode next week. Meanwhile, thank you everybody for being with us today. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next Wednesday. Take care. Have a good week.
Thank you.